Greg Phillips here from Australian Musician. How are you?
I'm good, Greg. Yourself?
Yeah, really well. So whereabouts in the world are you at the moment?
I'm at home in Texas.
Ah, cool. Yeah. So you're coming back to Australia in April, playing some shows and also playing Bluesfest. Will the shows mainly focus on your new album, Jpeg Raw?
I think we're gonna mix it up a little bit. It's been a while since we've been over there, so
Yeah.
I gotta give a little taste, a little reminder, and then into the present and maybe a little into the future. We'll see.
Yeah. Has the JPEG Raw album given you a new sense of freedom? Do you feel like that the boundaries have now disappeared and you can do whatever you like stylistically into the future, or have you always felt like that?
Oh, yeah, I've always kind of felt like there aren't any rules to this thing. That's why I like it so much. You can pick up a guitar and do anything with it. You know. Um, And so, yeah, I think JPEG Raw is definitely giving me a sense of freedom. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see what comes in the future.
Yeah. 'Cause I see the album as Gary Clark Jr., the musician and producer, as opposed to just the guitar guy. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I've always seen myself as kind of a producer. I got into music, overdubbing cassette tapes on a A and B tape player karaoke machine. So I would plug in my dad's keyboard and make drum parts and play key bass lines and then play my guitar over it and just keep swapping the tapes back and forth and overdubbing. I mean, the sound quality was terrible, but I had fun figuring it out. I've always just kind of worked like that. But the guitar has definitely been a highlight and it's definitely my strong point, I think.
Yeah. Are you curious with technology? Are you sort of always looking for what's out there, what's new, what can help you?
I've always been looking at gear and recording myself. I had so many ideas, and I was like, how do I capture these moments? So I've always, I remember skipping high school and going to the music store and just looking around and being like, man, one day I'll grab this and my vocals will sound better. Or, if I'll get this guitar pedal and, you know, I can sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood or whatever. So yeah, I've always been into gear, drum machines, um, yeah, all kinds of stuff. Anything that makes noise, I'm into it.
Yeah. Was there a particular new piece of gear that you used on this album that you were happy to explore?
Yeah, I've been into this universal audio reverb and delay pedals. Those have been really fun for me to get an authentic, not too digital sounding room sound, flatback sound.
Yeah.
Um, but it mainly depends on the amps. It's the amps and the guitars really for me.
Yeah. Did you use many guitars on this album?
I use my 335 or my Gibson 355. Um, I use my signature SG Gibson. Um, what else did I use? That's pretty much it for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, SG humbuckers. Pretty much stayed in the Gibson world.
Yeah. And what do you travel with these days? How many guitars?
I travel with way too many, but you can't be too careful. I'm mainly traveling with my Gibson 355 Ibanez Blazers I've had since I was like 13. Um, a custom shop uh, Stratocaster, 68 Casino, and I think that's about it. No,
Yeah.
SG,
Okay.
SG, SG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, your band, will it be King, Elijah, JJ, and Dane for the Australian tour?
that'll be it. I think maybe a couple of my sisters might tag along for some vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how have you approached playing this new material live? Have some of the songs been tricky to reproduce on stage?
Some of the songs have been tricky and we've been having, we've been messing with playing with the triggers and tracks and samples and just to try and fill that out. But that's a frustrating mess and it's a little bit distracting at times. So,
Yeah.
um, listening to inner ears and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, maybe we're just making it too complicated. So it might just be a more stripped down version and just keep it live and authentic.
Yeah. Has
I've come to the conclusion it's like just because you can doesn't mean you should.
yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Quite a few collaborations on the album. At what point do you decide it would be nice to have someone else perform on a song with you?
I was thinking about that a lot. It's collaborations have been something that people have talked about, and I've always felt that I didn't know exactly how to go about collaborating, for my records.
Mm,
Um, but I think it was just, having the right folks. It just happened to work out for these songs when, like for Don't Start, I heard Valerie June's voice right away.
yeah.
It was just like automatic funk with you. I mean, it's inspired by Parliament Funkadelic, so it's like let's call up George Clinton and see if we can get his blessing on it. And so
Yeah.
that's incredible. Nala happened by kind of by accident. I had this song, This Is Who We Are, and I didn't know what to do with it. I had the music and I was kind of losing the passion for it. So it was just getting a little dusty on the shelf. And Jacob Skiba let her hear it and was like, she's like, hey, I got some things, I don't want to overstep, but I think I got an idea. So she read off some lyrics and I was like, oh, okay. All right. So we dusted that one off. And then of course Stevie Wonder was
Yeah.
just incredible. He actually reached out to me for a collab, which is absolutely incredible, you know what I mean? Stevie Wonder calls you and says, hey man, you want to work on a song? What am I going to tell him? No?
Yeah. The track
Yeah.
To the End of the Earth is a beautiful short ballad with some
Mm.
tasteful jazz guitar. Who were the guitar players who inspired that kind of playing?
Ooh, that kind of playing. Mm, I guess I would have to say like Wes Montgomery, Kenny Burrell, um, Charlie Christian, Lonnie Johnson, T-Bone Walker. Um, yeah, those are the kind of those jazzy sound. The tones is really it. Not necessarily the phrasing of the notes, but just that warm, big tone
Yeah.
has always been pleasing to me.
Was the track ever going to be extended into a longer thing, or you were just happy with the 1 minute take?
Well, I always thought of it as the prequel to Alone Together. To
Yeah.
me, it's like the dreamy honeymoon phase, like the dream sequence in like a movie, where everything's flowers, meadows, rainbows, unicorns, and then cut to Alone Together with like to me, it was just like, all right, here we are, years down the road, we're hit a rough patch, you know, and then Alone Together comes on. So it was just kind of like they were kind of one was like the intro to the other.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just listening to the Habits single you've released, a version from the Crossroads Festival from last year.
Hmm.
Why did you decide to end the album with that track?
Uh, I decided to end the album with that track because it was just long. Um, it was long. It had multiple parts. Um, and I didn't want to depress everybody at the beginning of the album. I figured it was a sad tale, which turns into a triumphant um, musical presentation, which I thought was a good way to like to end the record. I think it's a nice spirit lifter and it's got a nice resolve after hearing the whole record.
Yeah. Yeah. What about your photography? Are you still an old school guy? Are you a darkroom guy, or have you moved into the digital world?
I've moved into the digital world now. In high school, I was a Canon AE1 guy, so I learned on. I was in the dark room, and uh, in the digital world, I early on I picked up a Canon Rebel, like a T1i, and I was like, oh, I can instant gratification, put it right on my computer, cool.
Yeah.
But I still go back and forth. Everywhere I travel, I have at least one film camera on me.
Yeah. I've heard that agencies are not using stock photographers anymore. They're using AI. They tell a program what kind of photo they want, and the program produces it. How do you feel about AI in the arts?
Well, that's not photography,
Yeah.
you know, at that point. And I think I'm not sure if you could, I don't know what to call that. You
Mm,
know what I mean? In a creative space to use artificial intelligence, I'm not sure if you call that. I don't know what you call that.
yeah.
Um, my son came home from school and read me this elaborate story that he came up with at school. And I was like, man, I didn't know that your mind was that, I didn't know that was going on in your little 8-year-old head, dude. And he smiled real big, got quiet, and he's like, it was AI. I just told him 3 words and they wrote this whole story. And I was so impressed. And then all of a sudden I was disappointed.
Yeah.
So, so I don't, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. I mean, it's just short and sweet. I'm
Yeah.
not into it for me. I don't see any need for it in my creative space, but some of it is cool. I
Yeah.
think it's amazing what technology can do. But like I said earlier, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. We've only got a few minutes left. What do
How
you?
do you feel about it?
I don't like it at all. I spend my time writing articles, that come from my heart and my soul and my brain, and another magazine, type something into a computer. It's just not right.
I agree. I agree. I kind of discredits folks who really are passionate for it and do the work.
Yeah. Couple of minutes left. What are you looking forward to most about the Australian tour?
Oh, about the Australian tour. I mean, it's always fun to get over there. The people are fun. People are funny. I like how they call me Gaza. That's cool. Um, but I'm enjoying. I'm looking forward to walking around with this camera. I'm gonna go have a pub meal, go find a nice sandwich,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm just looking forward to these shows. It's been a while, so I'm excited to get reacquainted.
Yeah. Well, we certainly look forward to seeing you down here, Gary. It's been a pleasure to chat to you, and hopefully we'll catch up again one day.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brett.